What is going on today, everyone? So we had a really nice day in the market. We're seeing some renewed optimism and positivity in the market, and we're seeing the theme of quantum start to pick up traction again. And there's some key technical indicators that are showing potential signs of a reversal. A lot of stocks have been under heavy selling pressure, so it's great to see some positivity in the market. So today we're going to cover SOFI, which is one of my favorite investments and technically it is not a quantum stock. It is a fintech bank, and they're reporting earnings very soon. We're going to cover IonQ, QBTS, Rigetti, and LAES. QBTS had a crazy day, an explosive price movement. So we're going to look at the technicals. We're going to do some price analysis, look at the market in general. We got a lot to cover. We're going to try to do this all in a short period of time. So let's jump right in. So I've got our heat map pulled up here, and it kind of shows that we mostly had a green day. We have Microsoft at 2%, Google at 2.5%, Meta at 4%, Nvidia at 3.8%, Apple at 2.4%, Amazon at 4.2%, and Tesla, very surprising, 5.3%. I did listen to the earnings call yesterday, and I'm a little surprised to see Tesla is doing so well. The earnings weren't that good, but it does seem that investors are very optimistic about the future of robotaxi and some different things that are going on with Tesla. So let's take a look at our quantum watch list. And today we had a massive move from D-Wave, QBTS. We had a 14% increase from open to close. LAES, a ticker I've covered on the channel before, 7.73%, Coherent 7.6%, QUBT 7%, ARQQ 6%. So when quantum starts moving, it moves. And we have IonQ, which has had another 5% move almost today. Skywater, we're keeping an eye on now because they're a fabricator for D-Wave and QBTS, and they had a 3% move today. I recently opened a position with them. And we're just taking a look in general. The whole market was pretty green, but quantum definitely had some interesting stories today. So the biggest story of the day was, of course, D-Wave. So we're going to look at the chart for D-Wave, and we see this massive gap up. Okay, so we have a 6% level, and then we open at 673, and then for the entire morning, we're seeing just where do those emojis come from? We're seeing buying pressure, a little bit of sell off, and then just a very kind of gentle slope here. There wasn't a whole lot of volatility in the trade today. A lot of the buying happened pre-market, and then the price moved up even more. And then buyers seemed pretty happy, even though if we compare, let's just open a new tab here and look at the Qs, because the Qs, which is our whole tech index, was a little bit more, it didn't kind of mirror the Qs. So the Qs actually sold off through the day. We gapped up, and then you can see here that we ended below the market open point with a big volume red candle at the end, and we're posting had a downtrend most of the day, a little bit of recovery, but in reality, if we just look at QBTS, it's pretty easy to see that there's that significant uptrend. And then sometimes what I like to look at also is how these stocks are moving in extended hours. So I was curious today which stocks were moving the most in post-market, in pre-market and post-market. So pre-market, Coherent and QBTS moved a lot. We know that. Post-market, QBTS is still in the green and Coherent is moving. And a little bit of a mixed bag, but QBTS, now we're going to zoom out a little bit and we're going to clear some drawings. And what we're seeing is, we know we had this really crazy run up with their quantum supremacy claim and their publication and their increased forward guidance for the next quarter. And that brought the stock all the way to a $12 point. And it sold off in a very challenging macro. But now what we're seeing is what could be the start of a reversal. I really like to see that gap up. And then this level right here, this $7 level, has been a pretty major area of support. If we actually look, it acted as an area of support for a solid period of time before it broke under. And it seemed to like this level quite a bit. So if QBTS can break through this $7.14 price point, then watch QBTS to the upside. And what is the potential upside? Well, if we go to the 5-day, in fact, let's just go to the day chart. The potential upside, if we measure the move from market close to the tip of the day, there was an 18% move. And now if we look at the 1 month, actually, let's go back even a little further. What is the potential move if we were to go from where we closed today to where we were? That would be a 61. That would be a pretty crazy move there back to the upside. So definitely watch QBTS if it breaks the $7 level to the upside. Of course, macro is going to weigh heavily on the stock's performance. Let's take a look at SOFI, and then we're going to cover IonQ, Rigetti, and LAES. Okay, so SOFI has been really beaten up in these macro conditions, and I want to go back 6 months because SOFI has really shown great signs of growth and a lot of potential in the company. And this has been reflected in the stock. So prior to the last earnings, SOFI was trading at $18. And Wall Street didn't like that SOFI was prioritizing SOFI was not prioritizing maximum profit, but long-term growth. So they took down, institutional investors sold a little bit and Wall Street sold, and that puts some selling pressure on the stock. But the stock was fine holding its pre-earnings price around this $15 level, which you can see was a pretty significant area for, let's grab this $15, and we're going to just draw a line, and we can kind of see for a long time, for quite a few weeks. So November through March, in sort of the previous set of market conditions we had, SOFI was pretty stable above that 15. In fact, it was bouncing off of 15 as support many times. And now it's kind of hit its head on that level. And in this macro, it's really put a lot of pressure. But now we have this technical reversal that's starting to happen. And this is happening with some velocity. So we have that Wednesday, April 9th day where everything moved up, but now we're starting to see that there is a definite trend that is forming. And when we look at a couple things with SoFi, just besides the technicals that are indicating certainly that there is potential reversal forming, we know that there's a couple key things with SoFi. So SoFi's earnings are coming up in, let's remove the drawings again. And let's see if we can pull that information up real quick. So SoFi reports earnings on April 29th. So we only have a few trading days, and we're looking at some of their financials, and we know that SoFi has done a very good job. Their CEO tends to sandbag their guidance a little bit, and then they tend to overachieve. And I like how TradingView shows this, at least in the mobile app, their financials. So they have surprised and beat, and their performance continues to increase. They're growing. And this could be a really big quarter for SoFi. So keep your eyes on SoFi. All right, IonQ, we've covered in a couple of the recent videos. I'm going to just do this quickly. Because I respect you guys' time. I know you don't want to hear me yap forever. So if we look at 5 days, we see that even in this last 5 days, we've had a pretty significant move of 18%. I've mentioned this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again that IonQ, of all the quantum stocks, has had a tough time getting above its quantum crash level. It recovered with strength at first. It was the strongest quantum stock, but then it actually became the weakest from a price action standpoint and got rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected over and over and over. And today we finally saw maybe a gap up and break above this very persistent $25.50, $26 area of resistance. So now what we're looking at is we've triple topped here. We're going to draw another horizontal line so we can see. So the wick has touched here, 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 and here at 28. So that's going to be a major area of resistance for IonQ. But if these market conditions continue to remain favorable, we could certainly see IonQ rip through to the upside and recover and potentially get into more of its range. We don't know if it's going to get back up to its all-time high, but there's been some recent positive news from IonQ that has been quite promising. So let's keep our eye on IonQ and definitely watch that $28 level. Okay, Rigetti. We know Rigetti moves explosively and trades explosively, and we saw a little bit of that old school Rigetti vibe this morning because we saw a gap from 856 to 9. Morning traders looking to make a quick buck, kind of dumped a little bit, and then this massive volume candle came in and started this rally. And that rally was a nice one to be a part of because it took a nice little 6% gain there. And then from this point forward, higher lows for the rest of the day, and ended the day at up 6.3%. Now, if we zoom out, look to the left, as I like to say, we have been in this zone. So we've been a little bit zone controlled. The next level I would look at as an area of resistance would be most likely $10. It's going to need to break through that $10 level, and then this 1151. And I'm not actually trying to pick just random numbers and tell you that the resistance on the chart, you can see that it's rejected off of $10 multiple times. And this 1160 level. So I think that's a good way, if you're trading Rigetti or any of these stocks, to kind of look at how they've acted, because $10 is a psychological level. You're getting into double digits now for a stock, and some investors decide to sell, and others are like, okay, this is a time for me to get in because the stock is on the uptrend. Now, can Rigetti get to, we're going to clear these drawings. Can Rigetti get to that $21 point it had in January before the quantum crash? It's setting, so Rigetti, from a technical standpoint, in my opinion, is actually not technically bullish yet. I still think that we're range bound. We're in this, let's see if I can show. So we're in this range, and we're in the bottom of this range, and Rigetti has some work to do to break into this area. It didn't spend a lot of time in this area. In fact, if we look, Rigetti was only trading at these kind of nosebleed levels from December, from late December till early January. Then it fell off a cliff. It recovered, and in January through early February held on around that $14-15 point, and then is sold off. So now Rigetti has a lot to improve. Finally, and last one, LAES. So we know that LAES, we have some previous drawings here. I think it's starting to show signs of a potential reversal. And we know that LAES can, SealsQ can move explosively. So we've seen it move explosively a few times before with big moves. So if we measure previous moves, we see a 60% move. We're at the start of what could possibly be another one of these moves. Now, when we zoom out, what I'm looking at and what is concerning to me from a technical standpoint is we have lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And you can clearly see that as we zoom in here, and lower, 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 lower. So for this to be an actual trend reversal, we have to get out of, we can draw another line here. And we can see a triple bounce off 214. So from a technical standpoint, there seems to be a lot of buying pressure that comes in at 214, which has in the past indicated the start of a rally for SealsQ. Now, SealsQ has had a lot of good news lately. They are making some great moves as a company, and they have a lot of catalysts, and their theme is quantum cybersecurity. So let's keep an eye on LAES, and we're going to need to break this downtrend if we want to see this upward movement. Now, to get out of this downtrend, to truly be out of this downtrend, I'd like to see LAES break $4. I think then, but that might be a little ambitious. And if we're going to get real technical here and get close to the chart and look at some of these spots where it's rejected, we can see this 285 position. So it does need to break 285, and it could do something like this. Or it could do something like this. And it's just going to depend on macro a little bit, and just consumer sentiment around quantum in general. So that is all I got for you guys. I hope you took a bunch of value out of this. We covered four quantum stocks and SoFi today, all within 20 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this coverage. And if I've earned it, and only if I've earned it, please consider leaving a like, and hope you have a great day in the market tomorrow.